Welcome to the Big Success Show. Today, 2 questions for leaders to improve performance.
Big Success with the Professor and Mary-Lynn.
We're doing 10 podcasts on lifelong learning. Man, Mary-Lynn, it just seems like that's screaming for a sound effect of some sort. So here, let me try it again. We're doing 10 podcasts on lifelong learning. That wasn't the sound effect I had in mind.
Oh, okay. Let's try it again.
We're doing 10 podcasts on lifelong learning. Oh, I like that much better. That was more uplifting.
And what's hard to believe is that we're already on the 9th podcast in this series.
Which you can probably tell we're a little bit punchy at this point. Hence the sound effects.
It's been a long series. Whoa, hey.
Oh, man. I think that one got away. Well, today we want to discuss leadership. Now, most of the time when we're talking about leadership, we're talking about personal leadership. It's kind of part of personal entrepreneurship.
Right, yes.
But today we're going to focus on leading others. Hi, I'm George the Professor.
And I'm Mary-Lynn. Today's episode is made possible by Kindle Unlimited. Find best-selling books on employee management and leadership on Kindle. And with the Kindle Unlimited membership, you can read or listen to all the books that help you help your team thrive. Learn more at bigsuccess.com/Kindle.
In our 10-part series, we've been looking at learning opportunities, but now we'll discuss this subject as a teaching opportunity. When the performance of someone who is in your charge falls short of expectations, here are 2 very basic questions and important questions to ask yourself.
Let's pull out the professor's whiteboard for 2 questions for leaders to improve performance.
I have a question. Where'd all this stuff come from? Gee, many Christmas.
I don't know, Professor. It is your closet.
I guess so.
All right. So the first question for leaders to improve performance is this. Have you done everything in your power to help this person perform up to expectations?
I actually got this question from a manager of a franchise I had bought. And so he was another franchisee, and he was one of the training franchisees, amazing business person. And I was lucky enough to get to train under him. But they were having an employee issue with a particular employee. And he told me this question, that's the first question he always asks when he has a trouble with an employee is, have I done everything in my power to help this person perform the way I expect them to perform? Mm-hmm. And you start with this because the answer determines your next move. If the answer is no, well, determine what else you can do, mm-hmm. and then do it. Mm-hmm. That's simple. If the answer is yes, that you have done everything, well, then you may have to take more drastic measures.
I could see where, especially if you're a new manager, where you would keep falling back to, well, I haven't done enough. Mm-hmm. I haven't done enough. I mean, I guess that's kind of the tricky thing as a leader, to make sure that you're not putting on yourself something that somebody else needs to do. Yeah,
the thing is, the default falls to you, right? So, I mean, mm-hmm. we're always going to fall back on ourselves, but there does reach a point of no returns. And I think that's what you'll see is that, okay, it's just not getting any better.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the key to personal leadership, too, being willing to move to that next step, even if it's an uncomfortable one.
Exactly.
And there is a reason, Professor, why the first question that you ask really pertains to yourself, right?
Yeah, and the reasons are, number one, it's to give your employees every benefit of every doubt. We kind of just talked about that.
Right.
So either you or your predecessor saw something worthwhile in this person that you're having the problem with, or they wouldn't be working for you. Mm-hmm. So I think we have to start with the fact that there was something there. Right. And so maybe there's something not there because of something we've done. So we start there. And the second reason is because you can control yourself. You can make yourself change easier than you make others change. Mm. And so you can't control anyone else. So if the answer comes back to you, it just means it's going to be easier to find the solution.
So if it comes back that, look, I need to do something more, then
you're actually happy.
Right.
It doesn't seem like it, but you're actually happy because it means you can address the problem internally with just yourself and then see how that maybe modifies the behavior of the person in your charge.
Okay. We're talking today 2 questions you, the leader, need to ask to improve performance of an employee. And the second question is it a knowing problem or a doing problem?
The answer, Mary-Lynn, is I don't know, but I'll do something about it. How's that?
That's good.
That's a knowing problem and a doing problem.
Well, so this question here, you can summarize all the reasons why an employee may not be meeting his or her expectations into these two categories: knowing problems and doing problems. And let's have you break those down for us.
And I think it's pretty clear what they are, right? A knowing problem means there is some set of knowledge that they just are lacking at this point, and we need to get them that knowledge. Doing problems is they already know what to do, they're just not doing it. Right. You can tell right off the top which one's the problem area, right? Because knowing problems are easier to solve than doing problems. When you ask yourself if you've done everything you can, you hope that you can honestly say no. Then, when you ask yourself if it appears to be a knowing problem or a doing problem, you hope to honestly answer that it's a knowing issue. Because then you feel like there's a real shot at getting this employee on track. They may need encouragement. They may need more training. They may need context about the work they're performing. Right. They may need to be tied into our vision and our mission. There's all kinds of things that it could be, but we would much prefer to have there to be room for improvement in ourselves in helping them get past the knowing issue.
Okay. And so now here's a bonus point for leaders. With most jobs, there are elements that are teachable and there are elements that are learnable. Yeah,
you can teach someone how to get past the knowing problem. They have to learn how to get over a doing problem. See, the thing is, if we really get down to it, knowing isn't necessarily a motivational issue, whereas doing oftentimes is a motivational issue. That's why it's so hard, perhaps impossible. So think about it. You've probably read, watched, or heard directions on how to do something. You thought you had it down until you tried to do it. Implementation can be difficult, to say the least, but at some point, somewhere, you keep trying and trying and trying, at some point, you get it.
And your employee has to get it in a reasonable, timely manner, right?
Absolutely, because if not, you face a difficult choice. You may need to part ways with this employee.
Oh, boy. And that's uncomfortable. So let's say that you've given your best effort as a leader to help your employee get up to par, and your employee has given his or her best effort to get back on track, and it still isn't happening. What happens then?
Well, you're going to have to make that difficult decision and let them go.
Yeah.
And doesn't make it easy. It's not easy. It's never easy, but it can give you some relief or some peace of mind that you've done everything that you should do or need to do. And here's what often gets reported. You'll see people who face a situation like this. I'm talking about the employee now, and they will say a year later, the statistics are overwhelming, like 80% or something like that will say that actually something like this, getting let go from a job, has actually been a boon to their career. It actually helped them because it forced them to look at inside themselves at the world outside them and find a good place where they fit. And they found fit afterwards. So take solace in that if you're doing this for all the right reasons, then it's the right thing to do.
All right. So let's review 2 questions for leaders to improve performance. Number 1 is look internally. Have you done everything in your power to help this person perform up to expectations? And number 2, take a look at the situation with the employee and determine if it's a knowing problem or a doing problem.
Great leaders take responsibility for the performance of every individual in their charge. When someone isn't performing up to expectations, they quickly take action to get their employee back on track. For everyone involved, that leads to big success.
Leaders know that in today's fast-changing world, you have to be able to adapt and change fast. Lifelong learning helps you do that. Get our free ebook about how to profit from lifelong learning at Big Success. That's big with 2 G's, success.com. You'll find the link in your show notes.
Thanks so much for checking in with us today. Special shout out to all our listeners in Medford, Oregon.
We love synergy here at Big Success. So next time, in our 10th and final episode in this series, we're going to discuss 5 activities that will make you healthy, wealthy, and wise all at the same time.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Please join us. And until then,
here's to your big success.
Find big success at biggsuccess.com.